Yo, welcome to the New Normal Podcast.
Hey.
Today, we got a fire topic. And if you have been living under a rock, we're going to be talking about a lot of the love and hip hop fiascos. Tia Morrow talking about her graduation to
Who?
divorce.
Tia Mowry.
Mowry, that's how you say her name?
Yeah.
Tia Mowry, her graduation to divorce. Um, we got the femininity coach with us today. She's a reoccurring guest, Ashanti Jordan. You want to say hey
Hey.
to the people?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
I want to let y'all know if y'all ain't checking for the New Normal Podcast, you missing out. We're gonna be going up all next year. The end of this year, next year, we got a lot of fire shit planned. Next year I'm gonna fuck the game up with my ideas on what I got for the New Normal Podcast. Really fuck the game up. But right now, I'm about to play a video.
You want to introduce what you're finna play?
Yeah, I'm about to.
Okay.
So what I'm about to play, that's not what I wanted.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm gonna reintroduce myself. I am Ashanti Jordan. I am new into femininity, but it's something I'm super passionate about. You can find me on social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Ashanti Jordan, and newly added is going to be my Facebook page, Ashanti After 9. That's where you're going to get exclusive information about your femininity journey, where to start, tips and tricks, and all things in between.
Let's go. So right now I'm going to play the interview with Tia Mowry.
Yes.
I guess that's how you say it. I said Morrow, whatever I said. With Tia Mowry about her graduation to divorce. If you need me to stop and discuss something that she said, let me know, Ashanti.
Okay.
Fun. It sounds like a lot of us. Let us welcome actress and producer Tia Mowry. Hi, guys. It is beautiful. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, you look amazing. I love this audience. So amazing. You got the DJ here. It's like a party in here. It's a party. How you doing?
I am doing well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking. I'm doing.
I'm gonna say this. She does look kind of good. Her weight looks good on her. Because when they was skinny, I ain't liked them that much. But they look kind of good.
Good.
We're so happy you're here. We just had your sister.
I know.
We love her.
Yeah.
And I love her too. I just talked to her I talked to her 2 days ago.
She is. So, do you all feel like you're each other's kind of North Star? Does it still feel that way?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, she's like my best friend. I feel like she's like really my life partner when it comes to life. You know what I mean? She's always just right by my side. So I love you.
You know what's weird about what she just said?
What's that?
She just got divorced, but she calling her sister her life partner.
It's a lot of speculation that they're actually not on good terms right now.
Her and her sister?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I think it has to do with Tia being very pro black love. And not that her sister is not, but she's like married to a Caucasian man. And so she makes comments that are not aligned with her sisters. And so a lot of people have speculated that they are not on good terms or like speaking terms really. And so I feel like her answer was a little fresh, you know.
Yeah, that's why there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
You know what's so many. You're at an interesting stage or phase in your life, Tia, and you've spoken about this, so we're comfortable asking you about it. But you and your husband, like a lot of couples, decided that it was better to be lived. Your life's better lived apart than together.
Yes.
How did you know that it was time?
That's a really good question.
To take that route.
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children. Meaning, our children, our friends, our, family. But at the end of the day, it's about self-love. And when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. Wow. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is so, so worth it. So
Yeah, wow.
thank you.
Tia.
Question: how do you feel about the women applauding her saying, celebrating her divorce? How do you feel about that?
Well, this is daytime TV, so we know they have the applause sign. You know what I mean? Cue
That
clap.
don't mean they have to clap.
Cue clap. This is still a production. You know what I mean? And so I don't think what she said is a lie, because there are times I can say I haven't been married, but there are times in a relationship where I feel like that I have been more invested in the well-being of the relationship, and sometimes neglecting like the well-being of just Ashanti herself. And so I think that there is some truth, or there is truth with the things that she's saying. I can only imagine, when I am thrusted into being a mother and a wife, that those are two new realms that I'm not very familiar in. And so those are going to be ponds that I want to get my feet wet in, and, learn how to navigate those waters. And I'm familiar with myself. And so I don't feel like it's far-fetched for a woman to be more innate to, going into doing something new in her life versus kind of tending to herself.
Okay.
What I think, first of all, you could hear the people saying yes, and here, people at home are sitting thinking like, I feel this, because marriage is hard.
It takes a lot of work.
And it also takes a lot of guts to know when you need to change something.
Yes, it really does.
It takes a lot of courage to say, this isn't working.
I'm gonna say this. They always like to say marriage is hard. Marriage is not that hard. You know what the hard part about being married is? Being bored.
Yeah.
Most people, they release plenty of studies that show that most people cheat when they are bored, especially women. Um, to say marriage is hard, it's not really hard. It's just monotonous. You coming home doing the same thing every day, kids in a way, and especially when you have kids. Kids do not save y'all marriages or relationships. Actually, kids come between that relationship. I'm going to tell you now. There's no more waking up, doing what you want to do, being free, sleeping all day, laying up in the bed, rolling around in the sheets. All of that is dead as soon as you have kids. But I'm going to say this: marriage is not hard, but marriage is boring at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you knew I have to do something different?
Yes, I feel like when I started to, again, like I said, focus on myself, but there was this sadness. And I knew that life is short. I had actually, lost my grandmother. We had lost Elena Housley, and both of them at the same time. There was just an aha moment in me where I said, you know what? You need to tap in, see what's really going on with your happiness. Life is short. Let's go. Let's start working on you and really focusing on what really, really matters here, which is, at the end of the day, your peace, your joy, and your happiness. So I
Question: Does it seem as if women put their happiness above family's happiness?
I would say initially no. I
Why do
wouldn't
you say
say
that?
that. Because like I said, when you do embark on marriage and parenthood and family, I think that is, in most cases, a woman is going to be very enthralled into those things. And so, especially when you have a newborn child or small kids, I hear women say all the time that, like, I don't feel like I have time for myself. Like, I'm nursing, You know what I mean? So like I got a baby attached to me all the time. They want to be held, they want to be nursed, they want to be caught up, they want to play, they just want to touch me. I can't even shower. And then I have my husband that I have to fulfill some needs for as well, that requires some physical touch. And I always feel stimulated. And so I think once that period of being agitated, then I think you start being like, look, I've had enough. Now it's time for me. So I do think that women do put their happiness above their families, but I don't think it always starts out that way.
So you think that's the reason that women divorce more than men, because they're searching for happiness?
I don't know. I mean, I think that would definitely differ from each relationship. And I think that we would need to know a little bit more insight about the relationship to really determine what her reasoning for divorce was. I mean, like she did give, her search of happiness and fulfillment that she had lost at some point in time during her relationship with her husband. But there are some pillars that she is not sharing.
Exactly. And I think we were ready for the real story.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because it's like he came out, I think he said he didn't even know they was getting divorced.
Because they are public figures and they're trying to sway opinions.
Yeah.
In their way. I'm not gonna say that what he put out is completely true and what she's saying right now is BS. I think they both have a little bit of fluff in both of them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him rolling over one day and his wife is like, moving out, got the kids. I think it was something that was coming. Now, did he know that they were going to get divorced on the Tuesday? He was going to get served on Tuesday? Probably not. But I think he knew that she is growing tired and weary of this relationship. She's distant. We're not the same. So if he, after all of those signs, still decided to say, I had no idea, that seems a little self-inflicted.
Miss Jordan, if I misspoke, I meant women file for divorce more than men, not that women divorce more than men.
Oh, okay.
So I'm correcting that. But let's continue. Hey Jazz, we use StreamYards. If you want to know, we're using StreamYards.
I would say that. And I was in therapy as well. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of therapy. So it was all of that, together that gave me that, aha moment.
What were you the most
What percentage of people do you think should get married worldwide?
I don't know enough people to survey that.
You've talked to a lot of people.
I have.
You've seen a lot of stuff on social media. Women hit you up. Women talk to you. I'm pretty sure men have similar conversations with you. You've been in the dating market. You've seen stuff. Other married couples, like, see what it takes. What do you think the percentage? If you had to take a guess, what do you think the percentage of people worldwide should get married?
I would say 90%. And the reason
90% of people should get married?
The reason why I say 90% is because you didn't specify what type of marriage. I mean, you can get married and it could be horrible. And if that's a goal of yours, you just want to have somebody next to you that you want to be companions with. Wait a minute, let me finish what I'm saying.
Why are you doing that?
I'm answering your question.
Why are you doing that, bro? So you mean to tell me I'm sitting here asking you what people want to be in a horrible marriage?
There are some people that are okay with it. There are people that don't believe in divorce, no matter how bad it gets.
Yeah, because like Mama used to always say, you know what you got, but you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Yeah. If you're talking about healthy marriages, you're talking about examples of good love and good healthy characteristics and community between two people, I would definitely lower that percentage to be probably anywhere from 30 to 40% of people.
Yeah, I think only 10% of people should be getting married.
And
only 5% of that 10% should have kids. And that's just from my view, seeing what people go through, knowing that divorce rate is 50%. And this is 10% of good marriages. That's why I think people should have good marriages.
Yeah.
afraid of stepping in? Because this is, you're stepping in, because some people, when you say, oh, my husband and I are going our separate ways, they go, oh no, oh, that's sad. But you actually see this as
a celebration.
A celebration.
I really do. I look at it as, one of my friends, she sent this beautiful letter to me from a woman who got a divorce. And it's all about, you know, this perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. You know, my marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. So that's basically, you know, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people look at, when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? And I feel like...
Oh, shit. Hold on.
From a woman who got a divorce. And it's all about...
So she said that, my question to you is, do death do us part is part of the wedding vows? Is it a success if people divorce?
I think it depends on the reason for divorce. In this situation right
Is
here,
it okay? Question: is any divorce successful?
as far as completion, what do you mean?
If you get divorced, would you consider that a success?
Probably not.
If you get an F in school, would you consider that an F? I mean, successful?
I would not.
Oh, okay. But she said it was a graduation. That's why I was just making sure that we on the same page, as divorce is not successful.
However,
correct?
I do think that there are certain scenarios where it could be considered, not, I wouldn't say success, I think that's the wrong word. But if you are in a relationship where you are in a physically abusive relationship, I don't think divorce is a success, but reclaiming your life and getting to a healthier space would be the success of the divorce. I wouldn't necessarily say a divorce is a success.
So divorce is not a success. We both agree. And I will agree with you that a lot of women, now I'm just going to say women, I'm going to say people in general, because they had a little skinny dude top of the year getting beat up. You remember him? His name Dre. And he had made that song and he was singing, and the lady slapped him and he had a tear running down his eye. He was still singing and she would beat on him all the time. He was real skinny dude. She was like a big girl.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah. And I will say this. If you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter the gender. If you are in something abusive, is it physically, mentally, verbally, spiritually? It don't matter if it's abusive, and you have the balls to walk away, you should do so. I don't condone anyone staying in a relationship that is abusive. I'm gonna say this. This is like a personal story, and the only reason I'm gonna tell it because both people are dead, and they were my grandparents. But my granddaddy used to beat my grandmother, and my daddy told me a story. Because I asked my dad, I said, "Dad, how do grandma have a? Why does grandma have a glass eye?" He said, "Your daddy, he said my daddy hit my mama one day. She fell and hit her eye on the corner of the table." And I was like, "Really?" And she stayed with him after that. And he was like, "Yes, she stayed with him after that." And I was like, "This is so weird for me because the man that I knew as my grandfather, I never could picture him doing something like this to anyone. He was a lovable guy. People liked him. And for the most part, my grandma, she loved him so much. My grandfather died. 2 years later, my grandmama was in the hospital and I went and seen her. Went to see her. The doctor's like, "Oh, yeah, she's fine. She's going to go home. Everything is good, everything." So I go in and talk to her. I said, "Grandma, the doctor said everything you're doing is good. You're going to go home tomorrow." She said, "Junior, I don't want to go home tomorrow." She said, I miss your granddaddy. I said, Grandma, the doctor said you fine. You ain't gonna die. She said, tomorrow, I won't be here tomorrow. I got a phone call and she was dead. And I was like, what in the world? And she was heart ever since my granddad had died, she was heartbroken. I'm like, how do you love somebody this much that mistreats you so bad?
I'm not gonna put this on them because I don't know the dynamics of their love, but that sounds a little bit like Stockholm syndrome.
Maybe so. Also, I'm gonna say this: both my grandfathers, my mother's father and my father's father, both of them lied about their ages to my grandmothers. My mother's father was 30 years older than her. And I think my father's father was like 15 years older than her. And my father's father, they used to call him schoolboy. And the reason they used to call him schoolboy because he looked so young. And my grandma literally told us in front of my granddaddy, she said, I didn't even know how old your granddaddy was until we got married. And I'm like, really? Like, how can you keep something like this from someone? Yeah. But my granddad paid all the bills. My grandma didn't have to work. Neither one of my grandmas worked. Come to find out, my mother's mother, they referred to my grandmother as the young girl. Everybody in the neighborhood referred to her as the young girl. I'm like, what's going on? Why they refer to my grandma as a young girl? Story is so crazy that my auntie has a stroke, goes to the hospital, and is across the hall. It's another woman with the same last name as her, Artist. So my mother goes to the hospital to see my auntie, and the lady stops her, and she was like, Artist is a really rare name. Just getting to know and whatever. My mama said she looked at the lady and she said, this lady looked just like me. And she was like, well, my daddy was named John. This is a real story. I'm telling real names. My daddy's name is John Artist. My mama said, my daddy named John Artist. And he was like, do you know that your daddy might have been the one who your dad left my mama to be with your mother. And that's why they call her refer to her as the young girl. I'm like, wow, these stories and dynamics is crazy as shit. I'm like,
I do feel like your grandmother may have experienced Stockholm syndrome. And so like when not that he was a captor, but abuser.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, not to be disrespectful. Passed.
We ain't gotta do all that.
I know, but I'm just saying, anybody listening, your family.
Look, we don't. Hey, this is a new normal podcast. I got tough skin, and Ashanti should know this by now. You ain't got to do all that. I know, but your
family may listen. I don't want to be.
I want to say something so bad you said that, but I'm not gonna say because family might be listening.
Yeah, don't say it.
I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say.
Her abuser died, and usually, like in Stockholm syndrome, when those people that have been abused, captured, or taken away from their family, they have developed some affection to that person, and when something bad happens to them, they feel hurt, like they lost a family member. Not that she did, but you know what I mean, like they lost someone close to them.
This perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. My marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Corey some beautiful, amazing children. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? And I feel like that is what is most important. It's not about staying in something because however long you are in that situation, that equals success. It's about really, again, are you happy? Because life is really short.
Yeah, it's like a blank.
I mean,
how important is happiness in a marriage?
Very.
Think so?
I do.
Do you think a lot of people are happy within themselves?
I don't know how to answer that question. Because I think happiness.
I'm just saying, so I feel like happiness gives off an aura. So you can be around somebody and just feel like, oh, this is a happy person. Their conversation, the way they move, they're vibrant, their skin tone looks a certain type of way. Like you could be around certain people and feel like, these are pretty happy people. Do you think you encounter a lot of happy people throughout your day-to-day life?
Per that definition, yes, but there are also people that mask, other emotions and emote emotion of happiness for the time being. That doesn't mean that when they go home or even when they get in the car that they're like that. I mean, there are many people that are depressed and have gone to commit suicide, and people thought, oh my God, up until, that tragic event, they were happy. I didn't see any signs of anything leading to this. And so I think that you can feel an emotion and an energy, but it doesn't always mean it's coming from a genuine place.
Yeah.
Your resilience and strength is really beautiful. And I know that one of the things you love with your kids is to travel. You have a new project.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about it.
I have an amazing partnership. I'm very excited about it. It's the Chase Marriott Bonvoy Boundless card partnership. And I love traveling with my kids. I feel like when you travel, you learn, you grow, you learn more about myself. And, the card basically empowers that traveling experience because, with the card, I can earn points not only towards like hotel stays, but also like doing every, day purchase.
Now it just seems like she's trying to support thought culture and traveling and getting hotel rooms for men to come and thrash them out from the back. What do you think about that?
Are you familiar with the company that she's talking about?
No.
So you are just basing this off of an opinion.
I'm just saying some wild shit.
Yes, because I'm like, I did not get that at all. I would say after looking at this interview, she is speaking she is speaking in the way of reflection. You know what I mean? Like she is reflecting. So from my understanding, she seems like she's in a place right now where she has processed.
Miss Renee, we don't know if she's really speaking from a place of happiness, because one of the most unhappiest people are divorcees, and they have plenty of stats on this. Some of the most unhappy people are divorcees, men or women. So it just depends on what we consider happiness. Right now, she looks good. She don't look like Erica Mena, like a crackhead. What? Well, I can't say that.
You can't say what you want to say.
She don't look like a crackhead, so it is all good.
Yeah. But I would say, looking at that interview, she's already seemingly, in the way she's talking, has processed a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's easy to do the fluff right now because it's like I've already gotten past that part of him that I don't like, or that part of him that hurt me, or that part of the relationship that hurt me, and I'm good now. I processed that. And usually when women leave relationships, we have normally gone through that grieving point, and that's how I feel like get the strength to just disconnect.
So Michelle Obama made a statement, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but basically, women aren't tough in marriages nowadays. From what you see watching that video by Tia Mowry, is that say it right? How do you feel about that statement?
That women aren't tough in marriages anymore?
Yeah, because she was saying that in her and Barack's marriage, that sometimes it felt like she was doing 70, he was only doing 30. And she was like, women aren't strong enough to go through the bad times in marriage. And sometimes those bad times can be years at a time. What do you think about that?
I definitely think that's an opinion. Because I do honor and appreciate Michelle Obama, and I love the things that she says, but that doesn't seem like it's coming from a place of any fact. There's no way for her to tell any woman's strength in a marriage or relationship that she is not in. So I think that she's free to say that, but I don't think that I would take that statement and pin it to any person that I know. I don't feel like I don't even think that's true.
So you don't think women nowadays are strong enough to go through bad times?
I do. I feel like they are strong enough to go through bad times. But I will say this, everyone's meter of a bad time is different.
I agree.
So that's why I'm saying you can't really say, oh, she's not strong enough to go through a bad time, because your meter of a bad time, as in years, and your meter as in tolerance, is different.
So, question: What do you think those meters that we're talking about have gone down for women of today?
I do think so. And the reason why is because we have more access to be sustainable without necessarily men. So,
I
like,
think that is true.
we have access to education, we have access to more finances. And so we aren't as heavily bound to a partner, as our grandparents and great grandparents were, having those limited options, being, saying, hey, I married Johnny. He used to punch me in the face all the time. But, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I have 8 kids with him. I can't leave because I won't be able to provide. And so I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off.
Read what Carolyn just said.
Most unhappiest people are divorcees. Just like grad school, you'll have to provide receipts, references with that, because I can't speak on all divorced people, but I'm happy AF and wouldn't ever go back. No one should stay married to an abusive, cheating, or narcissistic partner. Can you leave that up there real quick?
Leave it up.
Yeah, let me
Oh, my
just.
bad. Damn.
It's okay. No, it's okay. You can leave it.
Oh shit.
So I don't think the most unhappiest people are divorcees. I think it just depends on what you consider happy, right? Because everybody's
Okay, so hold
is
on.
different.
I'm gonna ask you something. Do you think there is a meter for happiness
per person? Yeah,
so you don't think that
it's subjective.
with it being subjective, do you think therapists know if a person is happy or not, if it's subjective? Should people go to therapy?
I think people should go to therapy. And I've gone to therapy before, and they don't necessarily push you to make a decision. They push you to realizations that you're basically navigating your own car. They're just kind of helping you see what's out the windshield.
Yeah.
So I don't think that any good therapist should sway you either way and to say, hey, you're happy or not happy. Now, I think that they should be classified, be able to classify different states of, like, depression, or, I'm not really familiar with other chemical dispositions in the brain that they can identify. But I don't think that therapists can tell you if you're happy or not.
So I've been seeing a lot of Black women post stuff about interracial dating lately. Is swirling and divesting going to help Black women reach the ultimate goal of marriage? What do you think?
I don't think so. And the reason being is because whether you date a Caucasian man, an Asian man, a Latina man, if you aren't displaying qualities that they deem marriage worthy, they aren't going to marry you either.
That's one thing we agree on right now. Because I definitely agree on that. I think if you're not showing qualities that the man that you're dating deems marriage worthy, you're not going to get married. So if you feel like you're having trouble with Black men, I feel like you're going to have trouble pretty much with all men. And the reason that I say that is I don't know if anybody's familiar with the manosphere space, but the manosphere space is typically mostly Black men. And the reason that I say it's mostly Black men is because most of the top creators are Black men. You know, the most notable name as of recently is Kevin Samuels, right?
Andrew Tate. I don't think he's African American.
He's African American. His dad's Black. He's
Okay.
mixed. He just looks white. Him and his
Okay.
brother, they're both mixed guys. His dad's Black. And when you look at these guys, the white men actually piggyback off a lot of the talking points that Black men say, because honestly, I feel as if Black women try to divest or swirl with other men, because when it comes to relationships, those men have been taught to be in a relationship and relationship minded more than black men who are raised typically in today's society. Don't get me wrong. This is typically in today's society by single mothers. So they haven't these a lot of these men aren't coming up in environments where they're seeing women and men married and understand how to facilitate and control a household. So I think when you're talking about going to a white man who's seen his mom and dad married and all his friends married and whoop the whoop, a lot of black people, especially black men, are growing up under their mothers.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's true. I think that there are disadvantages that we have as African American people, growing up in fatherless homes and not seeing that bond and that respect for marriage. And so when you don't have something that's modeled for you in a good light, you don't continue that in the future. And so there are other races that highly value marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so they find themselves married more often. They find themselves having children in marriages,
Mm-hmm.
more often. And I don't think that an African American woman that is just looking to be married is going to find marriage in other men that are looking to be married if they aren't displaying those same qualities that those men deem marriage material.
And tomorrow, I'm gonna talk about the swirling divestment community, and I'm going in on y'all ass. I'm gonna
And
go and let y'all know.
I actually implore men and women to be very vocal when they are interested in dating interracially or when they make that hard decision. Hey, I'm only dating white men, Asian men, whatever. I encourage you to make that decision. And the reason being is because please let us know so we can throw you with the bones and we can eat the meat because you're a bone now. If we're interested in dating healthy African American men and women that are interested in healthy African American men or women, and you're not interested in us, please be very clear, vocal, pin it to your page, get a tattoo, put it on the back of your car so that we can discard you with the other trash and we can get to the meat of what we really want.
So basically, you saying we taking the trash out right now,
Absolutely.
and I think when it comes, Miss Jordan, I don't understand your question. You said are men in that community as well, or is it just women? What you saying?
Um, I guess we were just specifically talking about men and women dating outside of the race, but the same thing with men. Black men can say I'm going to go and marry outside of my race, but if they are not displaying the qualities that those women deem marriage material, they aren't going to get married any quicker.
The only thing that's different between men and women is men do the proposing.
They
Women
do.
have to wait on the question. So that's the only thing that differs when we talk about men and women. Also, this is what I don't like and what I see through the landscape of dating. Black men has become some type of like fetishized sex horse mule type thing now. It's not really like, oh, he looks like a good husband.
Mhm.
He looks like a good buck. That's how that's to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking at Asian women or if I'm on TikTok here, Filipino women talking about black men, it's like, oh, he's a good stock. And it makes me revert back to how we were looked at during slavery.
Yeah.
He's just livestock. He can get the job done. The way he's built, he's used as a sexual object. He's nothing more than a dildo. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? And I don't think a lot of black men understand that when it comes to that they are fetishized in that manner.
Yeah.
That's it, Ashanti. Hold on, let me put it up down. That's it, Ashanti. Men also seek dating and marriage from other races.
Yeah, we were just
of people.
specifically talking about one dynamic, but it definitely is applicable to both. If any man or woman is seeking marriage within another race, if you are not displaying those characteristics that that race deems desirable, your chances are not going to increase because you're going to a different race.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people need to really understand that. But I think divestment and swirling movement for any community, the men or the women, I feel like people feel like they're taking the easy way out.
I don't disagree. But I don't disagree with that. I do think that there are genuine people that are attracted to another race without any motives behind it. Like, I want to get married quicker or whatever. You know what I mean? They just click with another race, or they're physically attracted to another race. But I do think that those ones that have the ill intention behind it, almost like they're gonna slight their race. Like,
see, that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like when I hear any race of any people, but especially our race, say, well, I don't date black women because of woo woo, or I don't date black men because of this and that, ABC. It's like, why can't you just date those other races of people without putting down the race that you come from? Which is weird because now a person that's dating you had to wonder if, am I a fantasy? Am I a fetish? Am I here for you just to get your rocks off? Am I here because you feel like you can easily manipulate me? Am I here because you feel like black women are difficult and you feel like I'm just gonna lay down and be your, your rug or whatever you can walk all over?
Right.
So a lot of men don't even think about those aspects when talking to opposite sex women. I see a lot of women complaining that's of opposite race women. I see a lot of women complaining about that, saying that I don't date black men that put down their own race when trying to date me.
I think also in that regard, sometimes people don't know how to uplift someone without tearing somebody down.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I don't think that sometimes people don't know how to, like, say, hey, you got a really nice hat. I love the color of it. Versus being like, I love your hat way more because that one over there sucks. Like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You can say, I love Latin men. Like, I love their culture. I love how they are very engaged with their family. I love how they are very committed to their Catholicism religion. Like, I love those things. I don't have to say I love Latin men because they love black women way more than black men do. Like, they come and cater to me, and whenever I call and ask for anything, he is just ready to cater and serve to me. But when I call Tyrone don't pick up the phone. You don't have to do that.
Right.
And so I think both races, because I think black women do it as well. I can call Chad. Chad can take me here, or Chad can do this and that. And Jeff Joan, can't, or whoever, you know what I mean, can't. And so I think that is just a horrible characteristic to have, and it rubs off wrong on those people that are genuinely interested in, dating another race. Now, those people definitely pair well when it's a black man who was down in black women, and it's a white woman that also is like, them black women ain't got nothing on me.
I'm gonna say this. White women are the most racist people, but nobody likes to admit that. White women are the most racist people. But I'm not supposed to say that, but they are. And I think more people are starting to pick up on, well, people have known it. It's just, I'm gonna say something controversial, but when it comes to Western society, the white woman is considered the trophy. So the trophy, you don't want to speak bad of it because people want to work hard and win the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was like, oh, that trophy is bullshit, nobody wants to compete for that.
Yeah.
But people are starting, that's where you get the whole term Karen now from, because a lot of this bullshit we go through, especially when it comes to racists, because of white women, false accusations like Emmett Till, like the lady in the park, like the lady calling the black people that was trying to have just a simple barbecue.
Yeah.
And she's calling the people on them, and the police show up and they tell her to leave.
Yeah.
So those are the issues that I see a lot that's going on now, is people are waking up to what's really going on in society. But let's switch gears. Let's go to Erica Mena.
All right.
Let's see what Erica Mena got to talk about right now.
because things been in the news,
Fair
like say
use,
with
fair
Kim
use.
Kardashian's divorce, and you
And
had
my
similar, you
divorce,
had a
yeah.
divorce. Both of you had, what are you going through right now with that?
It's just new beginnings, like sometimes just things just have to come to an end, and I know I'm relieved. I'm sure in her own way she's relieved. It's just more about being healthy in your day-to-day
How's the
life.
single life right now?
It's good. I'm
good.
getting a chance to indulge with myself and be with my kids, and I'm
Okay.
pouring myself into work, so I'm really happy.
Oh, speaking about kids, I know with the you've also had the same situation as Kim with the child support payments, and a couple of people are saying all that. How does that? Is people have been saying everybody that makes money shouldn't really ask for it.
I just
From
feel
your
like
perspective,
people should just mind their business. Kids are expensive, and everyone's lifestyle and how it's funded is different. So everyone should just mind their business when it comes to what they feel is suitable for individuals to get in compensations to take care of their kids.
that's
It
true.
takes two to tango. So
That's right.
you
Well,
know,
much success in
thank
all
you
that you're
so
doing with the
much.
career,
I
and I love
appreciate
your
it.
movement, honestly.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the love, and thank
Okay.
you guys for being so nice.
We always are.
So, does Kim K deserve child support?
Yes,
Why?
she is a mother, ex-wife, a mother of 4 kids. Is she supposed?
She a billionaire.
She is,
Why she there? Why does she deserve?
because she engaged in intercourse for those children as well as in vitro and a surrogacy with a willing participant under the guise of their marriage that they will be connected to each other until they die. And so, unless one of the 6 of them are 6 feet under, or 2 of them, I would say, they're going to always be connected. And you're going to always be responsible for your children. So, yes.
So child support should not be if you can't afford your children.
No.
That's weird.
Candy Burst has her baby daddy on child support.
See, I think this is the issue that you run into when it comes to child support.
What's that?
If you have a present father already,
Physically?
I'm pretty sure Kanye gonna spend some money on his child. But we can't say, we don't know. But I know personally fellas who are physically, financially. I know a guy right now actually has his daughter way more than the mother, but he's on child support.
He should go back to court.
He has.
He should go back, get a better lawyer.
Yeah, he has. And see, those are the games that I think a lot of men are opting out of when it comes to marriage, kids, and I think it's going to be harder on women because of the games that women play. Because at the end of the day, women of today try to act as if they don't want to be in a relationship, only to scroll their social media or have real conversations with them to find out that they are in search of a relationship, and but they just can't find anybody. The thing is, a lot of men, and I say this part of the manosphere space and social media, talking to men and men's group are waking a lot of men up to actually say, I'm not doing marriage, I'm not doing relationships, I don't even want to have kids. That's why you have way more, I think 56% of black women have kids, and I want to say 40 something, 50, maybe 50% of black men have kids. So that's why you have way more black women that have kids than black men. And I think that number is going to rise. I just, like I said, I just think seeing that someone that's a billionaire getting child support is a game I think a lot of men are going to wise up to and opt out and not want to play. And I think the landscape of dating is about to look a lot different. And the reason I say that, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and I don't know if y'all watched this, but they had like a rally or something where Trump was there, and it was a white lady there, and she said, "Thank you, Donald Trump, for saving white lives." Why I bring that up is because everybody knows when women are loose, society for in a societal purpose, that society crumbles. And to make sure that you hold women accountable makes your society better, because women aren't out here producing kids in a single mother household, depending on the state, and putting those same kids who haven't been reared in a certain type of way or understand discipline back out into society to running your house or running your shit like that. So those type of people understand that. Whereas when you hear black men have a gripe about to black women, like, hey, we both in this thing, but you are the access. You can't go to a doctor. The doctor can't shoot you with a needle without your permission. The same way I can't penetrate you without you saying yes first. So those are the things, and we have to understand. Everybody knows this by now. All men want to have sex. I don't know why that is a thing. Why we trying to act like, well, men this, men that. Every woman that I know, my mother, her mother, my great grandma I got to meet, all those women said the same thing. As a woman, I know how not to get pregnant. And it seems like it's weird now that when we have these simple conversations about this, it's like, why don't women of the day have that same type of understanding? What do you think?
I think it goes back to mothers being very open with their children about sex and prevention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that for men and for women.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so, like with my mother in high school, we had a talk. My mom isn't ready to be a grandmother, and I definitely, at the age of 14, going to high school, was not prepared to be a mother. And so we weighed all of the options and found the best option that was for me to ensure, as best of my ability, that I don't become a teenage mother at that time. And at this point, I have my health in my own hands, that I don't become a single mother.
Right.
And so I think that the lack of education is a really big reason as to why women are not taking their health a little bit more seriously, because some people don't even know about birth control options outside of social media.
I took a birthing class, and I did not know this. There are 30 different kinds of contraceptives. Did not know that. They told us they have a contraceptive that looks like it's copper.
An IUD, intrauterine device.
Yes, but I didn't know how it works. I thought it like gave off a hormone or something. They said no, it chops the head off the sperm. I'm like, how does this contraption, even though it's inside of your vagina, make sure it chops the head off of the sperm? That blew my. Then they showed it to us. It's like it's small. It's like this big, but I'm like, how does it know? Or does the sperm get attracted to it because it's copper? Like, it was so many different things that women can implant in them to not get pregnant.
When I went to college, I had to go to my OBGYN, and I got a lot of pamphlets of different kinds of options of birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go through each one of them and determine, which one is best for me. And I ultimately came to the decision that I did come to. But I think education is the biggest thing. When you don't give your daughters the knowledge, or even your sons the knowledge of how to properly protect themselves, you're ill-equipping them to go out into life. And I honestly think that conversation should start earlier than
later.
Yeah. I mean, because there are girls that have had kids in high school that had no real understanding as to how sex worked.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a full understanding about how sex works until I actually had sex. I knew the, verbs and the vocabulary, and I understood the actions taking place, but you still don't know. And so I can't imagine for the first time and not even having the forefront of knowledge as to what is happening within both of our bodies.
I'm not gonna blame the mothers on why.
Well, I guess I would say that for me. I'm a girl. But,
yeah, no, I'm saying for women, for young ladies. I blame the fathers for that one. Because if I had a daughter, I would have to let her know the mind state of men. And I think so many, every guy, it's not one that I don't know isn't scared to talk to isn't scared to talk to their daughter about sex. Every one of them seems petrified to actually have those conversations on how to talk to your daughter or bring up sex. Most men just want to be naive. I don't want to know what to whoop. And it's to me, it's kind of stupid to let your daughter go out there deaf, dumb, and blind like that, not actually understand how men think. If you understood the way that men talk in these circles about women, especially when it pertains to sex, I don't think if women just really had a idea of how men really talked about women when it came to sex, a lot of women would slow up at having sex.
I can slightly disagree
Okay.
with that. And the reason being, I guess for me, I've had conversations sparingly with my dad about sex, but him and my mom have always been on the same page. And so I think that there was a way for him to communicate to my mother the things that I needed to know so that she can put it in a way that I could understand and accept it. I don't think that what you're saying is wrong, but I don't think that's the only way that that message can be delivered to somebody.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying the only way, but I'm saying it would be different hearing it come from your father's mouth than your mother's mouth.
I can say as a teenage girl that was insecure about talking about sex anyways, and about what was going on with my body, with my menstrual cycle, and just my body changing, I was not comfortable talking to my father about those things.
But we're not talking about a menstrual cycle.
I'm talking about anything involving sex. Your period is involving sex. Ovulation, when you're
those are things your mother can talk to you about, the science.
But what I'm saying is everything, when you are that young, you can't compartmentalize. Oh, this little bit is about sex. This little bit is about puberty. It's all in one. It's happening at the same time. I can speak for myself and probably many other women out there. Excuse me?
That's how they teach us in school.
If they teach you.
Yeah, but I ain't talking about sexual, but I'm just saying, like, they don't teach you the whole thing one day in class. You go back 6 months, 9 months.
I didn't have 6 or 9 months of sex ed. I don't even think I had a month.
I'm just saying, in general, you said you can't compartmentalize different things.
At that age, yeah.
But that's how they teach us in school.
If you're taught, that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was not taught about sex at school. Yeah. I didn't go to any sexual education class. I didn't learn about it at school. I didn't learn about it at church. I learned about it from my parents. And so I'm letting you know that there are probably many other young girls like myself that may not be comfortable talking to my dad when I'm still unaware of what's going on with myself. I'm still trying to get my bearings, and I want to talk to my dad about what men at a barbershop are talking about sex. I could care less. I want to speak to my mother.
Mercedes says she's definitely right. I don't want a sex talk from my dad at that age. Leave the coochie combo to mom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say this.
I hope that you have a daughter.
I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say this. If y'all mothers, this goes for anybody. If y'all mothers was giving y'all great advice when it comes to sex, a lot of y'all would not be in the situations that y'all with y'all baby daddies. A lot of y'all would not be having your kids in prison, being single mothers. A lot of y'all would not be having DNA tests to try to see if he's the one or not, or how many dudes y'all are having sex with. If y'all mothers were raising, I heard a great statement the other day, and this
I do want to speak to what you just said.
Hold on. I heard a great statement. It says men kill people, but women kill society. And if you look at who's training and teaching the future and who's in school, who you're going to sit up under, who's going to teach you, your life is actually reared, trained, and taught by women pretty much your whole life. But okay, go ahead.
So what I'm going to say is, just because your parents tell you something doesn't mean that you're going to always apply it in the same way that you received it. And I think that's fair for anything. I'm sure you've told your children not to do something, and they're definitely not even of the age where they are talking about sex at all. But you can say, hey, don't pick that up. Hey, don't touch that. Hey, don't do this. They're going to take with that information and do what they will. And people do that just because it's your child. And my mom told me, hey, you should wait to have sex until you're married, until you're married. There are people that have had that conversation and have heard that many a time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that they are bad for not complying with that information. And it doesn't mean that because they heard it, that they're going to do it. So if their mom can have a conversation about how sex is whatever she want to talk about, you stand on top of your head and take a shot of alcohol and you're not going to get pregnant. If that child doesn't want to do that, they're not going to do it. And I don't think that it's going to be on the parents' fault that the child decided to not utilize the information. Now, I do think it's the parents' responsibility to provide all the information, but I don't think that it is their responsibility if a child decides not to utilize it.
So a question, this is some question. Is parenting important?
It is.
Do we parent or should we parent our children in a manner to be productive citizens to society?
I would say so.
Okay. I was just wondering because it's like a lot of people say that when you bring up parenting, well, kids aren't gonna listen, kids are gonna be disobedient, kids gonna be like, oh, this old nigga don't know what he's talking about. Well, true. That is true. That is true. But if we're going to just sit here and just have a conversation about parenting is a very big part of children and how they're raised, how they come up, their lifestyle, exposure, everything. Parents do a lot of things as such. And I think when it comes to parenting, a lot of parents need to have certain classes and watch how other people parent as well, because it ain't that many different type of people in the world. They say you got like 4 different type of people. So that's why I go back to therapy. If we're gonna just say, oh, therapists deal with a lot of different type of people, I feel like parents should deal with a lot of different type of people or a lot of different type of kids, see the issues and stuff like that. But I think parents nowadays are so wrapped up in work. Especially if you are a single mother, you have to work a lot. You're not able to go to PTA meetings, meeting your kids' friends, being there, listening to what type of music they're listening to. Put parental locks on TVs and making sure what their influences is and stuff like that. Because a lot of times it was shame on the family back in the day, traditionally,
for not being involved,
for how your children act. And kids understood at a younger age that your last name is very important, because what you do can affect your brother, your sister, our name, basically our social credit score. But we all like to be like, well, that's I raised him and he can do what he want to do. Like I heard T.I. the other day talking about his son. Well, I raised him, he got plenty of whoopings. It's in the other people's hands. So you mean to tell me you gonna let all you got left for your son is saying that the criminal justice system is going to raise your son now?
If he's going to be breaking the law, he's going to be in jail. That is going to be his.
But I'm saying that's a reflection on his parenting.
I don't disagree with that. However, I don't think that that's just a social norm that's back in the day. I grew up where definitely, my parents are in society. My dad is a public person. I can't be going to jail. I can't be acting up. I
Before
can't
you
be
finish
doing
that statement.
Things. And so I was also surrounded around women and other mothers and parents who also did that. And so what you're saying is back in the day, now the kids don't do that. That's not true. It is a regional. I would definitely say that for sure.
We've already established this, and we're going to establish this once again. Having your parents and me having my parents in my life is rare in our community. Even if you are around a lot of married people, if you went to school, you found out more often than not, people did not grow up in two-parent households. That one thing alone is going to change the trajectory of children. Stats alone show that 80% of young men that are in long-term correctional facilities grew up without a father in the home. Maybe it's 70. And 80% of the sexual assaults from young men are from single father homes. So these are things that stats show. Like most of the time when a guy goes to prison is because a father is not in the home, because a father shows discipline.
I don't disagree, but what I'm saying is, or from what I understood you saying, is that back in the day, these are norms that are not still current. And so my rebuttal was that is not true. That is what my rebuttal is.
So you think we still have those same norms today?
I would say so, yes.
So you think people understand the shame that, breaking the law could have on the family?
Yeah. I do.
I don't think so.
The percentage of people may have gone down, but the idea of it has not. Yeah, I do think so. If you even look on my Facebook post, I made a little joke today about it said something like when your boyfriend goes to jail, how long?
Oh, I got it, because I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. Majority of the women on there are disconnecting from those men. And it's a joke for me, but it's serious. I don't care to be in a relationship with someone that is breaking the law. It is going to be bad on my social standing. It is going to be bad morally for me and what I believe in. And it's not a choice that I want to make. Now, there are other women that are out there that enjoy pen paling with people that are in prison.
And a lot of these women actually, and from what I hear, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I know a lot of hood niggas worked around a lot of hood niggas. You get clout when you come home from prison. They throw a big ass nigga. We can go and look on social media and scroll how many parties people throw for niggas getting out of jail, but they don't throw parties for niggas graduating college and shit like that. They don't throw parties for high school like that as much as they throw parties. Nigga, BG got out and his whole welcome home, welcome home, like them greeting him, which is like they were so elated. This nigga did a bid, been in lockdown, 17, 18 years, whatever. And I'm like, bro, why y'all celebrating this? Like,
who is this?
BG, the rapper. You don't know who that is?
No.
Yeah, he just got out yesterday or day before yesterday. And I'm like, why are we celebrating this as a people? Because I know so many guys that say, yeah, man, if I'm in the hood and these the type of women that are around, it's a certain type of things that they are looking for. And it's like, logically, it's like, wow, as a woman, you can say, I don't want a homosexual male, but I want a male that been in prison. Those things can't coexist, because it's like, what going on in prison, right?
I don't.
I'm just saying these women know. You know what I'm saying? These women know what's going on. A lot of these men act like they're not gay. They participate in homosexual activities. But how you don't want a man that's not gay, but a man that's been locked down 18 years?
I don't know.
These are weird things.
I don't have specifications on men in prison.
And you know what's crazy? You was talking about how all these men in prison be writing you, right? And now it's been like, as of late, I don't know if Christmas coming up or what, but I've been seeing so many women post about how men been calling them just randomly out the blue from prison and talking to them and looking for money and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, what the hell going on?
Money?
Yeah, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, no.
So I got another video. I don't know what this one is. We both gonna watch this one together. Let's go.
Okay. We got a comment.
Hold on.
There are very current homes.
These are very common. These are very current norms.
Norms, okay. Sorry, I couldn't see that.
Normal, mentally healthy women do not want a prisoner as a man.
Honey, Mercedes, we are here.
Okay,
mama.
Mercedes, I will agree with you with 100%. Mercedes, I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
100%. But how many women are actually mentally healthy women we are talking about? And this is just not women or men. We're just talking about people in general. The rise of people on psychiatric medication is at an all-time high right now. Suicide rates, and they was talking about how suicide rates in young Black women are going through the roof right now. What you gonna say?
I was gonna talk about that suicide rate. I just saw something on TikTok, and it's not fact, but it definitely sparked something in my mind. Suicidal talk is so is spoken so freely now. Like, you know, it could be like, man, I cracked my phone, I want to kill myself. You know what I mean? And like 10 years ago, you heard somebody say something like that, you would jump.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Now you just scroll.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of desensitized us to when people do make comments that may really be dark. And we call it dark humor. Like, oh, I just want to slit my throat. They could literally be coming from a place of truth. And we're so used to it being coming from a place of like humor or sarcasm or whatever. And so the creator was saying how like that free speech of suicidal talk has probably played some point in the increase of suicides now.
Yeah.
Which I don't really talk like that, but it really made me like think about when I hear stuff like that. I'm like, dang.
It's a lady at work. So y'all don't know I drive trucks, but it's a lady that come in and to get her truck loaded. I said, how are you doing today? And she'll put her finger to her head and act like she blowing her brains out. I'm like, what the fuck? She's
That's
like,
crazy.
I'm like, hey, how you doing today? She'll put her finger to her head like a gun and just psh. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So let's go to Erica Minna, what we got on her.
Welcome to the pity party.
If you are watching us on YouTube, please, please, please make sure y'all subscribe. Share the video. And leave us comments about topics you want to hear us talk about. If you're on Facebook watching, make sure y'all follow the page, the New Normal Podcast. Make sure y'all follow my girl, Ashanti. She's the femininity coach.
Feminine
coach. The feminine coach. Femininity a word, ain't it?
It is.
Oh, but you want you the feminine coach.
I think so. I think I like that.
Oh, okay. So we got the feminine coach.
Oh, she looks so.
Oh my God, Erica looks so bad right here.
It's the hair that's so thick too.
I'm gonna say Erica a crackhead, but y'all gonna argue with me. I know y'all gonna argue with me. I want to tell everybody thank you for the likes, and I got some stars the other day when I was on live, and I want to say thank you again to Tamika. I don't even know her, but she just sent me some.
Yay, Tamika! Shout out to Tamika.
Yikes. Erica, we saw you get really emotional on that phone call. Can you talk to us about that moment, what you were feeling?
I was really like breaking in like pieces day by day. I've done a lot of therapy since, and I found so many lessons that I needed to learn. And I was able to tap into like, I attracted this energy into my life. Yeah, I've had some faults in my marriage, but at the same time, I've also swept so much under the rug.
I'm gonna just say this. This shirt Safari got on is ugly as shit. I'm sorry. Like if a nigga dressed like this, you already know you gotta leave.
And I think that's why I got taken advantage of, because for the first time I thought I was safe.
Safari, I gotta ask you, how does it feel to listen to what Erica's saying, to see and hear the pain? And are you in pain?
You know, I always purposely just try to numb myself from everything so that I don't feel pain. And I'll tell myself I don't care so that I could really believe it. But there's pain.
It's obvious me and Safari will never be. I was in the hospital bed with this man's son. That man didn't care if I made it through that pregnancy. That man didn't care if I made it through that labor. I really have fought through some dark time. Like literally, I couldn't get out of bed, guys. There was days I could not eat. But
I'm gonna stop there right now.
Are you gonna finish it? Or that's it for the video?
No, it's got more.
Okay.
But I'm gonna stop it right there, and I'm gonna say this: the worst thing that could happen in a relationship is when two people are emotionally drained, and when another person needs you to show up, you don't have nothing left for them. And that's what this sounds like. She's looking for him to be something that in a moment of going through birth, that's very, very strenuous, time consuming, draining. And it seems as if he's might have been drained, and he said it's pain, and he just tries to numb himself. Like, we always try to look at this from the woman's perspective, but as a man being in, relationships and stuff, I could tell you it's been times where a woman has drained me in relationships, and nothing crazy. Sometimes it could be nagging. It could be a woman just nagging, nagging, nagging. It's like, oh God, and you just are just drained from just simply nagging, and something big happens, or she depends on you at a certain time, and it's like, you've been nagging me so much, I have nothing left to give. How you feel about that?
Yeah, everyone gets to the wits end. I don't think that it's uncommon. I think the sad part is when you don't get replenished, when you get to those points of um, just being depleted, of being able to give. And it seems like these two have been depleted for a very long time. And it's very unfortunate because they're now welcoming a new life into the world. And that baby needs 100% from both parents. Right. And they're pouring from an empty cup.
And what's scary is these two type of people putting all their energy and bad shit into one person.
Yeah, because I 100% believe your baby is connected to you, of course, inside the mother's womb, but that baby feels sadness. It feels all of those internal things coming from both parents. The energy from both parents. When you in the bed with your wife and she's pregnant, I feel like the baby can feel your presence.
Definitely can.
And so
you could talk to the baby and the baby responds and kicks and moves around, all of that type of stuff.
It's just sad.
But at the same time, I have to face my kids, and I got to act like everything's okay because I'm the only one that feeds them on a day-to-day basis. Like, I had to drag myself out of that dark place. With my first son, because I had to hustle so much, I sacrificed so much time away from my firstborn, and I'm still trying to make it up to this day. And this is stuff that I've confessed, and been vulnerable with to him about. That's why it's weird that he knows traumatic experience I've had of being a single mother once, and then he turns around and makes me a single mother twice. I've already come to terms that Safari will never really take accountability, and that's fine.
See, this is the part where I blame Safari. Because a lot of times when people go through stuff and they tell you about what they've been through and they unload on you, they're looking for you to have strong shoulders to carry that weight. And a lot of people fumble that. And the reason that I blame him is because she says she's told him a lot of stuff about her past, what she's been through, and she's already been a single mother already. So she's looking for someone to help her and support her. The thing is, the reason she might be a single mother is because she's only good at being a single mother and not a long-term partner. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that. What do you think?
I don't disagree. The only thing that I would say was sharing something so sensitive like the relationship she had with her first child and the difficulties that they went through. I'm very curious to know, was Safari deserving of that information? Was he deserving of knowing those intimate details?
How do you know someone is deserving of those details?
Well, I would say this. Prior to their marriage, it seemed as if Safari was in heavy pursuit of Erica, but she had made up in her mind that this is it. Prior to action showing that this is it. And so I think the reason why they have rushed to the demise of their relationship the way they have is because they rushed through the inception of it. They rushed to be perfect. And during the inception of their relationship, there was a lot of blurred lines between if he was talking to another girl, if he was dating another girl, sending flowers and doing all of these other kind of things. And I think that Erica was very quickly to solidify in the public's mind and even trying to convince him to some degree that I'm the one. And so, yeah, you might have been down in Jamaica with another girl 2 weeks ago, but I have the roses today. I have the flowers today. I have the ring today. I have the wedding today. I have this today. but tomorrow, is it the same? You know what I mean? Like, was he? Did you see him through the seasons where he had put in the groundwork to know you in an intimate way? Because you didn't. I don't think that they spent enough time prior to marriage really trying to get a chance to get past that honeymoon phase where we love each other so much and we're super interested and everything's going to be perfect and great and peachy cream. Did you get past that point when you were settled in that relationship and you were like, this is where I'm going to be? Because I feel like right now is the settling period where she has now recognized
who he is.
This is what I got. But I think she masked her wanting to be a wife and wanted to be a mother because she is 35, if I'm not mistaken. And I know she had talked about wanting to have kids, and I don't know. She never specified the timeline for that. But I'm assuming, 35, she's ready to be married. She's ready to have her baby. She's ready to be with her man and have her family.
Right.
And so I think that's part of the reason that they are where they are.
He don't owe me nothing. All he owes now is his kids, and that's all I care about.
Safari, do you want to say anything at this point?
Come on. Come on. See this?
Grow up.
Shut the up.
You can cuss me out. I'm cool with it.
Speak, bro, because there's somebody out there like you. So you got to speak, bro.
I want you to be able to speak and not us speak for you.
This is what I hate about Love and Hip Hop. I don't know if this part is scripted or this is real shit, but these are not type of conversations that you have with other people around in a public space for millions of people to watch. This is not the type of conversation where you want a person to speak and open up and tell you how their deepest feelings and act as if y'all going to reconcile. I understand this is a TV show. I understand this reality. I understand all of that. But to sit here and act like this is a spot or a forum for this type of carrying on, this is weird.
It is, but however, and he is at a job right now. You know what I mean? He's not hanging out with homeboys and we just happen to have a camera. He's at work. And so the reason for the reunion is to tie up those storylines. And so
that's what I'm saying. It's
weird, but you bargained for it and you signed up for it. And so it's time to fulfill your contractual obligation.
I hate this shit. This shit is cringy.
It is.
Very cringy.
So if there's anything, I mean, this is the time.
I don't even know how to start.
We want to hear. Start.
He said he has pain. Sometimes to get your pain out, you got to release it. And you got pain, dog, you got to get it out too. Y'all both.
Who wants to get married, have kids, and then end up here? Like, I wouldn't have thought 2 years later this is where we would have been. We were just at a place where it was just who could hurt who the most, and we were there for a long time. It sucks.
Damn. He said we was at a place where who can hurt who the most.
I'm messed up on the who want to have kids, will get married, have kids, and divorce when you were unfaithful. You sound like you wanted a divorce.
I'm gonna say this. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because a lot of people are doing things that's not conducive to wanting to have a fruitful marriage.
Yes.
Like if you're cheating, you're obviously not trying to be fruitful. But at the same time, I'm going to say this. A lot of people get into relationships and marriages with the mindset, I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to be that. I think I can do this.
I would object in this specific instance.
So you don't think
when he was cheating prior to the marriage, so he didn't have any period of stopping.
But this is some rich shit. Some people think marriage is the stopping point.
Yeah, well, I think the stopping point should have maybe come to a halt when you got publicly engaged.
Yeah, but some people be like, "Oh, I'm doing this. Marriage is the real thing."
Okay,
it's women and men that think that.
He's to show that the Carfax, the Yelp reviews, they're still going to be consistent. He was a 2-star restaurant when you first met him, during engagement, during marriage.
Yeah.
And during divorce, he's still a 2-star. You didn't get a 5-star meal here.
No. So should people's past come into play?
I do think so.
If we knew people's body count, should that come into play?
If that's something that matters to that person, I think so.
Okay.
Definitely sorry for the time when our son was born. And I left a week later.
It wasn't a week later.
Okay, just let me finish.
It was days.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Erica talked about how the divorce has affected her. How has it affected you?
It hasn't. He's been having fun.
Okay, it looks like it, but he probably hasn't.
He's been living his best damn life.
Well, it
He
appears.
is not living his best life.
No, good for him though.
That boy would have got a girl look like you.
Well,
That
you
ain't
ain't
your
gotta
best
wake
life.
up to take care of 2 babies. You better be.
Shakala is too damn ratchet to be having these type of conversations. Too damn ratchet.
I think he has some things he may want to say, but he's just not in a space where he feels safe to be able to say whatever.
Right, because y'all in front of millions of people and it's like 20 of y'all right there on stage. Like,
well,
this shit is
she's
weird.
also very hostile right now, rightfully so.
He could be hostile too, though.
She's very verbally combative, and you can tell that
He telling you he hurt.
Yeah.
He telling you he's sorry. And
Sorry
we
for
cut
what?
him off and when we talking for him, he's right here.
Agreed.
Let him get it out himself.
Okay. The night you were playing cards with the fellas, you were very upset and you threw a chair.
Other dudes come in, want to feel like they oh, this safari baby. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Oh, he don't like you and oh yeah, your kid.
Oh. What triggered you at that moment? What made you so
I had a
upset?
flight to catch. And I had to leave. So that's how I left.
This man don't care.
It's first of all, it's not that I don't care. I
Y'all
don't.
gotta stop thinking this man is gonna give you substance. There's no substance there.
That's why I don't talk though.
Yep.
How are you now saying he ain't gonna give you no substance? You ain't figured it out before y'all got married. 1. And 2, how when he talking, you always cut him off? Because you do this a lot from other clips that I see. So nobody's gonna open up ever in this type of environment.
But he do care, girl. He's been hurt. But I really do deep down in my heart believe he loved Erica.
Before we go, what's your hope for your relationship with her as a co-parent?
Just to be better than where it's at now.
Right.
That's a start.
Well, that is a start. I wish you two the best. I hope you get to a place where you can both be in a comfortable space.
Thank
I know
you.
that was not easy.
Hey, yo, it's Safari. Listen.
Watching that clip, what do you think?
I think 2 things. I think that they are both hurt. I think that they are both hurt from each other, but I think they are more hurt from self-inflicted wounds.
I think what you say is right. I think these are both have been 2 ticking time bombs, and they exploded around each other.
And I want to say this too. I think from what I saw on social media, Erica's band-aid for what he was doing behind the scenes was to influence the media and like what the public saw. And so this is a greater fall from Glory because she was trying so hard to make this narrative a reality and it just didn't stick. It just didn't stick for her. She didn't have the fairy tale marriage that she had led up to. The proposal, the roses, the wedding, the babies. It didn't pan out how she wanted it to. And I think that's where most of the pain lies.
How can a woman avoid this type of situation? What's the first step in vetting a man to avoid this type of situation?
I would say definitely it's going to be taken in account what his past recent history was. So prior to his relationship with Erica, he was dating Nicki Minaj, and there were rumblings about unfaithfulness, being dishonest in things, not being present in things. And those are the same characteristics that we're seeing now. And so knowing that he has the propensity to have these 3 characteristics, probably more, that you don't know him, are you looking for the signs that he has changed? Has he gone through any type of corrective therapy with a professional to correct some of these things? Because I'm not saying that you should hold that person's past against them, but I do think that that past is going to be way more valid when they haven't even done anything to correct what issues they had before.
Yeah, this shit is sad. That shit is sad. So, last but not least, let's talk about Chrissy.
Pity party times 2.
Pity party times 2. Let's talk about Chrissy. You call her the forever girlfriend.
Yes. She's definitely the poster child of the forever girlfriend.
Is something wrong with being a forever girlfriend?
If your goal is marriage, I would say yes.
So if your goal is marriage, the forever girlfriend is failure, basically.
It is.
So if he was to marry her tomorrow, would that be success?
From my vantage point, I would say no. From her, she probably would be enthralled with joy.
So let's watch this video here. Old men used to tell me, if you don't marry her, she'll stay around longer. And I think I've seen that to be a true thing, because after you get married, the only thing is forever divorce. So I think a lot of women fight for a wedding ring and don't know what to do with it after they get it. But that's just my opinion.
How much more you want me to take? How much more you want to see? I can take.
Because you just don't want to keep playing house.
Talk to you for a second. Oh, you got beef? Hi.
What's up?
Why are you running up on me like you got beef with me?
Sit down for a second.
What is he doing in Miami? I left him in the house. And now you're invading my space with this aggression?
You having a good time down here?
Yeah, I was until you rolled up on me like we got beef.
You love Miami, right?
I do love Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. I don't even know you're here in town. You roll up on me and tap me like I owe you money. Like, what's the matter?
You say what now?
Look at how she's sitting.
You don't like how she's sitting?
Legs open.
She like a hood Brooklyn chick or whatever. Whatever you New York chick.
Yeah.
But I think Chris is so funny.
You always think something funny, right?
I don't know what your problem is. You're not telling me.
You better stop yelling at me.
I'm not going to stop yelling at you because you came down here like a retard and you're not telling me what's wrong with you.
I'm going to show you how fucking crazy I am.
What you got for me? Some information in your pocket? Like, what are you digging for?
I got that information for you. So you want to marry me?
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that proposal?
Why he is not like singing her praises down on a bended knee? Baby, stand up. I really want to talk to you real quick. I know we've been going through some things, but I just want you to know I appreciate you. I love you. You are a homemaker. You A all the way A through Z. And get down on bended knee. Not toss her a box like it's a stack of ones like at the club. Are you crazy?
I would advise, fellas, if you're gonna marry somebody, don't get on one knee.
For maybe not for someone he knows, but for me, I require a bended knee.
And he put the ring on.
He did do nothing.
Hold on, let me see. She's been waiting on it for a long time, so she'll take anything at this point. That's what it looked like. Hold on, let me see if he can put the ring on him.
Yeah, put you on my finger. The fact that my Jimmy knew it was time to do the right thing. It was priceless. It's beautiful, babe. What's up, y'all?
You know why that shit sad? Because after all of that, they still are not married.
Yeah.
Even in
and-
fact, they had a recent, I think, episode
Yeah, they did.
to where he asked her about getting married, and she said something about to the effect that he wasn't changing, and he had gave her a whole bunch of stipulations for her to change to say that she wasn't to be ready to be married. If I'm correct, I can go read the article to make sure.
That's true.
So I'm like,
sorry, I'm laughing.
these people have been in relationships for a long time.
Isn't it 18 years?
I think 18 years. So basically, they probably been together since they were like teenagers, like early 20s. I think Jim Jones, let me see. Jim Jones probably like 40.
I don't know, but I will tell you the truth. That ring was a pacify ring. He pacified her to be content for another, I don't know what, 5-6 years. And
46. So they've been together 18 years. That's what, 28?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's crazy.
And like, I don't know if she's ever had the desire to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And to each his own. I don't think you should give your man an ultimatum, but I do think it is definitely something you should take into consideration when you are dating and meeting new men and women. I think that you should definitely kind of give them a timeline of what you want to do within that relationship, because I think that would lead to that would not lead to a lot of disappointment.
Why do you think Jim Jones hasn't married her?
He doesn't want to.
Is there something wrong with her, him, or is just his choice not to marry her?
I think she's always been available, and so she's a comfortable space for him. There is like a saying that says the devil that you know is always better than the one that you don't know. And so she
Basically,
is,
you know what you got, but you don't know what you're gonna get.
yeah. And so she is comfortable. He knows her boundaries. He knows how much he can upset her. He knows how he can maneuver in the relationship without pushing her over the edge if she ever gets to an edge or even attempts to fall off, because he's been with her so long. Yeah. And she's become tolerant of his bad behavior. She's become tolerant of his lack of commitment, and he's become tolerant of her being upset and wanting more but not getting more. And he's comfortable with her. But I don't know it to be true in this situation, but there are a lot of situations that pan out. You just were not the one. Like, I would say this. Jim Jones can say, I want to be married. To you, it's silent. Never came out. He could have every desire to want to be married. But is it to you?
She older than him. She 51.
Yeah. And he has a kid and everything.
They got a kid together?
No.
Oh, okay.
He has a kid with another woman. I don't know if that kid was within the relationship. I don't think so.
I can just see how old is Jim Jones?
I think the kid is older, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old that kid is, but I think she definitely have been pacified with that ring. And that proposal, or whatever you want to call that performance, was a direct reflection of how he feels about the relationship. Here you go. Here you go. You happy with that? Here you go. Is this what you want? Here you go. I'm gonna pull it out of my pocket. I'm gonna be like, yo, you wanna marry me?
So basically, he had a son probably before they got together, because his son is 18 too.
Yeah.
Question: is there a gender war?
Gender war?
Yeah, gender war.
Can you give me like more insight?
Men against women.
I wouldn't say so.
You don't think so?
In what ways?
Like, you see all the bickering back and forth, what men and women want, men and women will do relationships, who's toxic, who's not, all of that type of stuff. So I was wondering, did you ever think it was like a gender war?
I think there's a one-sided war on both sides.
What you mean when you say that?
Like the passport bros versus black women. I think that's a one-sided war. They are so.
What about swirling?
We're gonna
Swirling is basically the same thing.
possibly. I just don't feel the same way, but I do.
You don't feel the same way?
I do not feel the same way.
A question: how long have you known about swirling and divestment?
As of recent, not even a week.
How long have you known about the passport bros?
Months.
Okay, so that answers my question there. But okay.
So I do think the passport bros is a very one-sided war or beef.
Do you know how long the swirling divestment movement has been going on?
I can't say that I have cared to know, but I'm sure you'll let me know.
Yeah, it's been going on years compared to the passport bro has been a 2020 thing.
It has been.
And so the swirling divestment movement is probably started from when I first heard it was like 2017.
Okay.
So we're going into 2023. So that's at least a 6-year thing. So, and I think the passport bros is the response. You remember when No Scrubs came out?
I don't remember when it came out, but I have heard it.
But you know the song TLC. So the response to that song was No Pigeons that men made. They was calling the women pigeons and women was calling men scrubs. I think the passport bros is the rebuttal to swirling and divestment. Same thing when you have feminism and all of that, then you have the manosphere. But the thing is with all of those things, they always lead into extremes. They never just go down the middle where it can be conducive or how we can come back together and how we can be one and sing kumbaya. It's like, oh, men are shit. And then the niggas like, what, these bitches ain't shit. It's like, it's kind of like that. It's never like a thing where we can, hey, what is your grievance with me? What is my grievance with you? How can we solve those problems? How can we make sure going forward that we are both extending an olive branch to make sure that, hey, this will never happen again, and whoop the whoop. But none of that is happening. It's just one extreme leads to another extreme, and that shit is getting sad now. What do you think about that?
I don't disagree. I do think though that discourse is only prevalent on social media. I don't think that there are people having these kind of conversations in real life. I don't ever see anyone arguing in public about these things. I think
that's
that
a space to argue though.
But I'm just saying in public, I don't even, I would say out of my I would say 10 years of dating.
Yeah.
I have not had a man ask me about my body count. I think from my vantage point, that seems like a social media question. You are the first person that has ever asked me about what I bring to the table.
Ask me that,
and you can, but I have had no man ever asked me what I bring to the table. You were the first one that have asked me that. I feel like that is also a social media question, and so I don't know. I mean, I feel one way about it. I don't think that my social media life is my lived experience. I wouldn't ever say that.
Well, I'm glad. I wouldn't say I'm glad that it ain't, because I've had women ask me those type of questions, not directly, but like, what do you bring to the table? What is your body count? Are you still friends with any of the people you had sex with on social media? If you are, you need to delete them. They don't need to be commenting on your posts or anything like that. I don't want to see you kikiing with them.
I have never asked a man if he's following anybody.
Yeah, I've had a lot of women ask me that.
But I would say I've already kind of vetted whatever is going on. And so I don't really need to ask that question because I've already confirmed whatever you bring to the table. I've already confirmed that you're okay being at the table with me today.
Yeah.
So I don't really need to ask you. And I feel like men that I choose to date have already assessed those things as well through conversation, through just like, internet snooping or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I don't feel like they asked me that question either.
Last question. I'm going to let you run it down before we get up out of here. This has been a great interview. Yes. It's been pretty cool. Laid back. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Where did all of these women go wrong? From Tia Mowry, Erica Mena, and Chrissy. Where did they go wrong?
Starting off with Tia Mowry, I don't believe that we have the full story. So I don't feel like I could even give a great assessment as to where she went wrong because we don't know the meat of what's going on. We just kind of know the coat of the cake. We don't know what flavor it is. And so I'm not 100% sure where she dropped the ball or where he dropped the ball or where the ball was dropped between the two of them. But I will say it seems like she has been to some therapy and has grieved that relationship and seemingly is in a positive place. And I hope that he also is doing that. And I was definitely gonna get to that. My girl Mercedes. I think the same thing with Erica and Chrissy. They ignored the red flags with both of their partners. And like I said, your Yelp reviews are going to give you that. Speaking on Erica specifically, the same characteristics and actions that he's displaying now at the demise of the relationship
We heard about basically.
throughout the whole entire relationship. If she didn't speak on it publicly, it played out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not shocked that he was unfaithful. And I'm not shocked that his unfaithfulness continued throughout the relationship because it was there prior to the relationship, during the beginning, during the engagement, marriage, and divorce. I'm not really shocked about that. With Chrissy, I feel like she had not established what her boundaries were and what her hard nose were with Jim Jones. So if she didn't already establish, I met him at 30.
Mm-hmm.
I do or do not want to have kids. And so in order for me to fulfill those obligations and whatever route, at 35, I'm ready to be married.
Yeah.
And so if you are not ready to marry me within the next 5 years of this relationship, I'm letting you know it is going to be over for us.
Right.
I'm going to be back on the market and I'm going to find the man that's interested in me. And because she kept moving that goalpost back for him, we're now here at 18 years with no marriage, 2 proposals, because she proposed to him initially.
Yeah.
And he then proposed to her. And no marriage, no children, no foundation, nothing. Because you didn't establish what your boundaries were. And so I think with both women, they didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
Like I've shared before, cheating is a hard no for me in a relationship. And after doing some reflecting, I will also say it's a hard no for me in a relationship as well. And I don't feel any obligation to try to correct this wrong in a marriage that I did not create. So I feel like I would move with all purposes of dissolving this marriage unless my husband start to show me some signs of change. I'm talking about real change. Changing up the friend group, seeking therapy, seeking the root of this, whether it involved me or not, and displaying some actions behind it. But I'm not getting ready to compromise my hard no because we got kids or because we have a family, a house, or careers or anything like that.
I do think that is true. Mercedes said Chrissy is not crazy. She wants that lifestyle and she is willing to do whatever to keep it. I do think he affords her a lifestyle that she doesn't want to give up. Like that saying, like you know what you got, but you don't know what you're gonna get. And the thing is, am I going to meet a man on the caliber of a Jim Jones who basically looks to me sound like he handled business as far as taking care of her and takes care of her financially the way she wants to be taken care of?
I want to speak to that too.
But
Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But then we have people who get divorced like Larsa Pippins and then go on a TV show and said it's hard for her to replace a Scottie Pippen because she compares a lot of men to him. I'm like, you've been married this long to this man. You have 4 kids with him. This is fucking Scottie Pippen. He has the money, the clout, the height, the looks. You know, he's not a bad looking guy. How do you think you're going to compare? And you're older as a woman in a dating market that's for young women. Why would you go back out there and get that?
With Larsa,
Go ahead. Go what
I'm
you gonna
sorry.
say.
With Larsa Pippen, I can't understand why she wants to compare her partners to Scotty when she's not even dating anyone his age. Why do you? She's dating people her son's age.
I understand. Like she's
And
dating
so,
Michael Jordan's son
right.
right
And
now.
so why do you think that he would be comparable to someone that is, I don't know how old Scotty is, 40
Gotta
or
be
50
gotta
or
be
something. You know what I mean? Why would you think that? That sounds ridiculous. Now, if you're dating men in their 50s or whatever, that would be a fair comparison.
I think her comparison is probably one. It would probably be emotional.
Yeah.
So these, even if they're younger, they probably wouldn't. They're not giving me what I'm looking for.
Yeah, they're not 50. They haven't emotionally developed.
I think another thing is, like we talk about boredom. She was married to this man for a long time. Probably, kept up, put up, whoop to whoop, and she started hanging around a younger group of young ladies too. So you think you're hearing all of these external influences about how fun they having, riding the baloney pony, all of this other type of stuff, and you think you're going to go and replicate that and think you're going to have fun doing it. When we know, in fact, and I'm going to play this video, one of the therapists talked about one of the issues that a lot of women have is typically when they sit on her couch, she diagnoses them, is sex is a big part of why they're being diagnosed. If it's voluntary or involuntary things that happen to them. And she was saying society has confused women to think that they can have sex like men, but men perception on sex and women perception on sex and how we receive sex is different. Men are the givers, women are the receivers. And that is a true thing. And so she was saying that, and it's weird that an older woman doesn't have this type of understanding and this type of knowledge to know, like, you out here having sex with young guys, that's what they want to do anyway. Why do you think they're trying to be in a relationship with you? And what guy in his right mind seen what the fuck you did to Scottie Pippen? You fuck Future on Scottie Pippen. Then you went and got divorced. You old as fuck with 4 kids. And you think I'm finna wife you up or give you something more than just being a fuck buddy? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with what you said. Speaking on Chrissy and what you spoke about with her and Jim Jones and the lifestyle, Chrissy is definitely operating in a scarcity mindset. She is not operating in abundance. That I met him at 30, and if it doesn't work out at 35, I'm great. I'm in a great financial place. I'm in a great emotional state. It didn't work out with Jimmy, but I'm not torn down emotionally, physically, or anything like that. I can go out and get a great guy that wants to marry me. You are operating as if he is the last man standing that you could ever have interest in.
Well, that goes back to the conversation of trade-off then.
Well, yeah, it could be. But what I'm saying is at least what Larsa Pippen is doing is operating in some abundance. And so I feel like at some point in time, she may not find another Scottie Pippen, but I think that she will be in a better space to find another match because she's on the market than Chrissy, who was off the market, has been off the market for 18 years.
So you think Larsa Pippen's going to find
hardened,
a match?
Excuse me, has visibly become hardened emotionally, doesn't have any regard to mating with any other man at all. She is hard on for Jimmy. And that's it. And so she is going to either be Jimmy or die. I don't think that she may be in a space where she's going to find another match because her optics aren't there. She's not on the market. She's not entertaining other men. She's only has eyes for him for 18 years. And with Larsa, I think that she is operating in some form of abundance. It may not be in the same way that we find favorable.
Hold on. You said she operating in abundance, or could it be naivety?
It could be both. Two things can be true at one time. But what I'm trying to say is she may not be operating in the aspect that we think is conducive for her finding a partner, but her chances of finding a match is going to be way higher than Chrissy's. It's going to be way higher. Even if she settles and she doesn't meet another Scottie Pippen 2.0, she's going to find someone that is going to meet some of those needs for her that she's going to be content with versus Chrissy running up and down Miami to New York to New Jersey, and him getting homes foreclosed on, and she's doing all these other kind of stuff. And I'm finna be single, but I'm back with Jimmy. But I'm finna be single, I'm back with Jimmy. She's definitely operating in a scarcity mindset, and so her optics are going to be way lower than Larsa Pippen's.
I'm gonna just say this: if Larsa Pippins gets a lesser man than Scotty, she's failed in life. And I know the question is gonna be, we don't know what those new guys are giving her that she was missing, woo to woo, but we can clearly see. And obviously she's not having a good time for her to go and say, well, I'm comparing every guy to Scotty. That lets you know right there out of her own mouth, she's not having a good time riding the baloney pony.
I think she also got fed up with his infidelity too, though.
Okay.
So, and I believe she could leave.
No, I'm not saying.
And I believe she can be unhappy if she want to be, but I think she deserves to be unhappy by her own merit than someone else's.
It's weird to say. This is the only thing that's weird. Let's say that statement is true. Scotty was a mad cheater, cheated on her, whoop de whoop. She got tired, whatever. She leaves, she go gets another man. You obviously should have stayed if you're going to compare other men to a cheater still. That's weird. Like, I'm not, if I'm out here, if I left something because of something, I'm not going to be looking for that same something in someone else, because that's going to just give me the same something. That's weird. If Scott is a cheater, he did make me feel this way. Why would I be looking for this in somebody else that I'm dating? That's a weird thing.
I think that she can still appreciate Scotty and some of his characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
and not appreciate him being a cheater. And so I think that she didn't specify, I'm assuming she didn't specify in whatever you read the characteristics that she did like in Scotty. But what I am saying, I'm not necessarily agreeing with her method as how she's doing it, but I do feel like if you're going to be unhappy, let it be per your own merit.
So she fed up with Scotty infidelity, and now she's dealing with random dudes doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing as far as what, being unfaithful? Is that what she said, that different men are being unfaithful to her?
I don't know. I never heard her say being unfaithful to Dave being unfaithful, but
Darius, can you give us a quote, please?
That's weird. It sounds crazy and very weird to my ears.
Yeah, it does. But what I'm saying is, I feel like this. If a man takes vows to me to be unfaithful, to be faithful, and to be honoring and respecting our marriage, and those things are not upheld, why do I have to suffer being mad with you when I could be mad on my own merit?
That's that Tyler Perry talk there.
I don't have to be up here upset because of you. I could be mad because of something that I did. And I feel like I could live with some of my own mistakes that I'm upset with than to be trapped in a marriage with yours. I don't want to do that. I don't care if I'm 95.
Okay.
I don't want to be trapped and bound by your indiscretions. But because I'm a wife, a mother of your children, and I feel obligated to be here, because I could be with another cheater. Yeah, I could be. But guess what? It'd be my decision, and not that I'm bound within this contract.
But the both of them are your decision to stay or to go be with someone else. It just depends on what you decide. And the reason I think a lot of men be baffled by the logic of women is like, it's just some man shit. It's like, you are mad with me cheating. So they had a Love and Hip Hop episode. This is where I want to go. They had a Love and Hip Hop episode, and it was the nigga, what that nigga name is? Corey Guns, right? And it was a reunion, I think.
Peter,
maybe Peter, because Corey is the son. Okay.
Yeah.
So Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, somebody asked one of the girls he talked to, like, yeah, she left me because I cheated on her. And he simply asked her, he said, you left me because I cheated on you. Basically was like, you dumb. So how many people have you dated that haven't cheated on you? And she said, everybody has cheated on me. So it's a weird thing. It's just a man. She's like, you were looking for a man to date you, to not cheat on you. Now, I will say this. It is a thing of not getting caught. And if you being that sloppy, then it's kind of hard for your woman to just like respect you. And I think also, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think as a man, if you handling your business, that you should have to lie and sneak about your sexual desires or something you're gonna do anyway for her to find out. Because I think a lot of times women look at men as if they less than a man if you sneaking around and hiding stuff and trying to clean up your tracks as if I'm the big bad wolf. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot more women would respect it. Hey, look, I got this sexual desire for this, woman with the I ain't gonna lie to you, or, it might happen, or I, feel like I want to pursue something more with this woman. You can stay or you can leave. And I think when more women will understand and respect that than you looking like a little ass boy just sneaking around trying to cover your tracks.
Yeah, and that goes back to me just saying like women prior to our relationship when we are in solitude. Yeah, back in the 90s when they were rock stars and it's 2022. And like we said earlier in the show, I'm not sure if you were watching at that point, but I'll reiterate it. People's tolerance is different. So she may have been tolerant at that time, but today she's not. So she's not doing the same thing. But what I was saying to you was that I'm sorry. What I was saying was those examples are reasons why I encourage women while they're still single, idle, dating and not in a committed space, figure out what your hard no's are.
I agree.
And that is going to predetermine. Now, you can't do everything, right? But those things that hey, if this occurs, this is a sign that I can't do this. Mm-hmm. So if I tell my husband, hey, cheating is something that I do not tolerate, the consequence of cheating is going to be me leaving this marriage. If he is aware of those no's and still chooses to disregard them and fulfill whatever he needs to fulfill and understand the consequences, then it's time to reap what you sow. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that it is up to the woman to try to fix and coddle and scramble to get that together. But I think that as a woman, we are also complicit in what we accept. And so when you start to accept things like infidelity, he cheated, you're mad, y'all don't go to counseling. Y'all just moving forward. And you're internalizing that, trying to move forward on your own. And then you do it again, and you take him back. And it's the same song and dance. And he does it again. It's the same song and dance. You are now starting to be complicit in that space. Now, when you're ready to check out, you can check out whenever you feel like it. But it's no longer just something being done specifically to you. So in those instances with Larsa leaving her relationship, I think that she should leave when she's ready to. With Erica Mena, I think she should leave when she's ready to. But I don't think that those women are absolved of walking down those paths with those men. It's equal fault here. Now, if he cheated that one time and you left and that was it, the blame is on him. But if he cheated and you took it back, he cheated, we at the 20th time, and now you need a pity party. You need people to come and coddle you and be sad, and no, it's not the same. You are not offended. You are not a victim. You are complicit. That's not saying you can't be hurt, but you are complicit.
Well, I'm going to say I agree with that. And that brings us to an end of a very good show today. I don't know. The sound sounds better. I think I sound better on this microphone. I might have to switch my mics out when I do the podcast by myself, because that one sounded a little staticky, but it sounded good on your voice. So I might put some like tape or something on to let us know which mic is which. But that sound real.
That ASMR.
Real Luther Vandross right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But thank you, Miss Jordan.
Thank you.
But I'm going to say this is the New Normal Podcast. Ashanti, you want to say anything else before we get out of here?
Yes, I would love to say this. ladies, please establish your hard nose. And a quote that I live by and that I say every day that I 100% believe in: when you raise the barrier of entry, you force the standard to rise. So figure out where your barrier of entry is and make sure that those standards are upheld. And I'm sorry, everybody can't get in. So if they don't meet those standards, don't feel bad. It's somebody else that can sweep them up by the wayside, but continue to move forward in positivity and in abundance.
I agree with what she just said for women and men. And I don't if y'all hey, look, if y'all on Twitter, go at me on Twitter. I got 2 followers. I've been on Twitter about 2 months, but Twitter's a weird place. Go follow me on Twitter. I'm on IG. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok, but I think I'm finna stop posting on TikTok. I really hate TikTok. TikTok is so sensitive. They be blocking my words that I say. And I say I'm gonna try to clean up what I like my cursing a little bit more, but I feel like I gotta be authentic to myself at the same time. But I say I'm gonna try to clean up more. But TikTok really is sensitive and it's crazy. This is some real stuff. I'm gonna say this. All these platforms don't care what go in your mouth, but they do care what come out your mouth. Twitter will literally have whole sex videos and porn videos on there. But if you say something they don't like, they'll deplatform you or block you. So that should let you know that what you say is very, very powerful. Same thing with TikTok. They have women half naked showing their areolas through wet t-shirts and
Yeah.
fishnets and pulling their breeches up between their vagina and showing their camel toe and all of this stuff. But as soon as I say something, they block it or I gotta appeal it to let them play my sound on my video, which is very weird. So, but like I said, I'm on every platform right now. Go follow the new normal podcast. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're growing leaps and bounds right now. I'm trying to make sure I give y'all better content. I got a lot of stuff planned for next year. Y'all just stay rocking with us. Y'all make sure y'all go follow Ashanti. She on YouTube. She don't post enough on YouTube, and I keep getting on her to post on YouTube. But go follow Ashanti on YouTube. I will. She need to send me the link so I can post it.
I will. I'm gonna start posting.
Please start posting because we got to build everybody that come on our platform. I want us all to grow together. That's one of the goals. It's like you come on here and y'all show me love and support. I want everybody to grow together. But y'all go follow. Make sure on YouTube. Last time I checked, you had 38 subscribers. How were you at now?
Probably 30.
Oh my God.
But I am on Facebook too.
She on Facebook. Hey, her Facebook for real been jumping lately. I ain't gonna lie, her Facebook been jumping. So if you want to really interact with Ashanti, the Facebook is really the spot where she jumping at. She supposed to be starting a podcast, but I'm not gonna say too much about it because she hasn't given me a lot about it. But she said she's gonna start a podcast, and hopefully it'll be soon. I'm telling everybody we need to go ahead and do all this stuff. I'm learning the podcast space, and if you are a person that wants to start a podcast, I don't mind helping right now. Because when I get where I want to get, I'm charging people.
Not before me. Okay, I'm first. Just want to put that out there. But yes, please follow me on Facebook. If you want to get funny Ashanti, you can follow me at Ashanti Jordan, spelled like the singer and spelled like the shoe. Don't reference that to me in a DM. I hate that reference, but it's just the easiest way for you guys to follow me. And then on my femininity.
Oh, that was for them saying what you call it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, hold on, don't shade me. Oh. But if you're interested in your femininity journey and learning what that looks like, and I also have healthy tips that are applicable to both men and women coming soon, you can follow me at Ashanti after 9. So I'll see you on social media, and I promise you guys.
She got a book coming out called Dating for Brokies. I think that's gonna be a hit. You ain't gonna make the book
for brokies? I don't know nothing about brokies.
Dating for Brokies. I think that'll be a good book, just like the book for dummies.
But I have been on my page. I have been giving content about where you can go in the city to do inexpensive dates. However, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I do compound dates. So basically what I'm doing is just breaking down what I did in one night. So you guys can afford to do it if your budget isn't where you want it to be. But it usually ranges anywhere from $150 to $200 roughly. But you could probably do something a little bit cheaper if you got coupons or you want to get higher seats or anything like that. But you can follow me on social media. I definitely have lifestyle content, dating options. I do restaurant reviews and stuff like that. So I'm your girl. Hit me up.
Thank you, Miss Jordan. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we out.
Bye.